Hey there. How's it going? We're going to talk today about your beliefs about yourself and how narcissists and toxic people have affected how you believe, the beliefs that you have about yourself. And more than your internal dialogue, the actual beliefs and things that you think and feel about who you believe you are. Okay, so the deep beliefs. My name is Lise Colucci, and I am here to help you understand, heal from, and transform your life after toxic relationships. So hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe. If you guys need coaching or group coaching, as always, you can check the information in the main description of every video. It's all listed there. If you need peer support, that's there as well. So look at that, and uh, if you need it, there it is. So let's get started. Your beliefs about yourself and how. So how has a narcissist affected your absolute beliefs about yourself? Well, gaslighting, right, and the constant love bombing and devaluing will create confusion in your mind and conflicted beliefs. Now, if we're talking about parental narcissism where you've grown up with it, it's pretty obvious that, children believe that who they are, right? Based on how they're treated as children and based on how their families operate and based on what a parent, teaches you about who you are because and narcissistic people indoctrinate their children with all kinds of thoughts and beliefs that serve the narcissist, right? So that's a more obvious one, right? But it's not that you can just take that and then be okay. Like, "Oh, I understand. It wasn't really me. It was my toxic parents. Okay, well, I'm all better now." Right? No, because it goes deeper. It goes into beliefs. So what happens is you have this go on, you have something happen really subtle. I'm going to tell a little story. Okay, this is a story of someone has told me a long time ago of putting of being very young, about 3 or 4 years old, and the baby sibling was crawling around getting near the light socket. And the 3-year-old child said, "Mom, mom, mommy, 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 the baby." But they're 3, right? So they don't know to go pick up the baby, right? Because they're 3. And the mom on the phone, toxic narcissistic mother, says, "You're always interrupting. You be quiet. You sit there and be quiet when I'm on the phone. Don't you interrupt me," and then the baby inevitably reaches for the socket. Baby was fine, but did get, a zap, right? So mom says to the 3-year-old, "Why weren't you watching your baby brother? This is you. You saw it happening. Why didn't you stop it?" This is to a 3-year-old. So being that we know that this mother is narcissistic, okay? As an adult, we're like, "Shame on you, mother," right? But to the little kid, perfectionism set in that moment. I must be perfect or someone is in peril. Someone will be harmed, right? My baby, right, will be hurt. So I must be perfect. And that set a belief system in this person's life for the rest of their life. And then what happens with these because that's a shock, right? That's a shocking thing that happens, and it's met with survival and fear, and it was a big impactful moment in this person's life. Okay, but then what happens is throughout your life you have these beliefs reinforced because of course there's always opportunity for perfectionism to creep in, right? But because it was such a shocking, harsh um implant into this person's mind, everything in life seems to be a measure of that perfection, right? So where someone else might not feel the same thing as perfectionism, if something happens to this person, like say they fail a test or someone says they're cheating and they're not cheating in school and they say they're cheating, some of us would just shrug our shoulders and say, "Okay, whatever, punish me, I don't care." And others who have this perfectionism need and whatever, or have to have the truth be told, right? React in a way that reinforces the belief in themselves that they must be perfect or else. So whatever the belief is, see, this is how it happens. It's it's implanted by the toxic parenting, or we're talking about parents here for a second, and then it's reinforced by life. But what if you didn't have all that? What if your upbringing was fine and your parents were, healthy, normal people. And suddenly your beliefs have changed. Suddenly you don't like yourself anymore because you've been with a toxic narcissist, right? And suddenly you realize and you recognize you have a lot of self-hatred or a lot of self-loathing or a lot of, you're down on yourself. You don't feel very good about yourself, and that these beliefs are there. Where did they come from? Well, they come from the toxic, programming that the narcissist is giving you, that you're not worth anything, because a narcissist needs to be on top. They need to be superior. If you are an amazing person, it's going to take a lot to knock you down, because they got to get you really, really far down, right? They got to get you so low that you believe it. And it takes a lot to get you there when you're a pretty darn good person. Okay. And so they do. And they systematically devalue, 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 devalue. With a little bit of love bombing, it is the stuff they want you to believe about yourself. Oh, you're really hot. Oh, you're really helpful. Oh, you're really the things that serve them, right? And then the parts of you that are actually you cut you down, knock you down, until your belief about yourself is pretty thin and weak and sad and all of that, compared to how it used to be. Maybe if you had, if you had it didn't have it, have the toxic growing up. So even people, what I'm getting at here is, even people who had a strong belief system can be affected by narcissists in how they then believe and feel about themselves and the beliefs they have about themselves. Even if it's just as simple as, my picker's broken, I picked a narcissist. Okay, that's a belief that is inaccurate. Narcissists will slip in anywhere they can, and covert narcissists are hard to see. So it's not that a picker is broken or that you chose unwisely sometimes. It's that that person fooled you. And anyone can be fooled by a narcissist, especially when you didn't know what one was. Excuse me. And hey, Ellie, thank you. And Chris, thank you for being here, and modding, and Shastina as well. Hello, guys. So, um, so yeah. So this is tricky, because you see, you get discarded, or you leave, or you decide, I'm done with them, and you live with them anyway, and you're like, whatever. And you think, okay, I'm over it. I'm getting through this. And then these sneaky little beliefs are underneath it. And so you're living your life. Say you're completely narcissist free, and you're feeling like you're healing, and you're just out in life. And these little or huge beliefs are kind of getting in the way of everything you try to do. And it feels like life starts repeating itself, because, as we know, or maybe we don't know, what we believe is how our life will be led. What we the way we think and feel, and the energy that comes from us, is how life will meet us. And that's not to say people with amazing energy who will think positive all the time don't have bad things happen. That's not the point. The point I'm saying is that the cycles that we repeat, they may have bad things happen in ways they didn't expect, right? But it's not that we can make ourselves happy all the time. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is, when we see these patterns, and we see these beliefs of being part of the pattern. And okay, what are we saying here? Hello, Gabby. Let me know. You said this is what you need. Tell me, say more, please, so that I can keep talking the direction that serves what you need here. Okay. Narcissist back and trying to hoover. No, Miss Rockstar. This time, lots of touching. I learned this is a form of grooming. Oh, yeah. Touch and probably scent are the quickest ways into your emotions. Touch is going to activate oxytocin. And yeah, hooks you right back. Uh-huh. Um, what are we saying here? Okay. Having a broken picker, he told me mine is. Oh, well, you agree, but the coverts can slip in no matter how. That is a different version of what I meant there, Chris. That yes, we can choose base. Okay, if we're choosing people, we're talking about a broken picker. Sorry, I'm going a little bit in a circle here. If we're talking about, oh, I have a broken picker, a broken chooser of people. Hey, Tanya, if we if we're approaching anyone we meet, friends, whatever, situations, through our own belief system of codependency, um, self-hatred, whatever, then yeah, we're choosing through the wrong parts of ourself for something healthy. Does that make sense? That's how I see a broken picker. Maybe what he meant was something different. I don't know. Um, okay. You're a master narcissist destroyer. Excellent. Okay. Where were we? So, hello, Gabby. Say more about, if you don't mind, if this is what you needed. How? Oh, you did. Okay. The beliefs I grew up with, that I didn't match up to my golden child sister. She was more than I was seen as, less than back then. Black sheep, and I learned a lot of faulty beliefs. Broken picker, Tanya, meaning like when you choose friends, partners, anything, jobs, like that, you choose things that then end up being toxic over and over and over again. And sometimes it's like, well, yeah, there's like a zillion toxic people in the world, and other times you're like, wait, why do I keep choosing and not leaving, right? The bad ones. So some people feel like they have their people chooser is broken. So okay, so the beliefs you grew up with didn't match to your golden child sister. So you had the comparative thing going on because you had the golden child sister. You were seen as lesser than, and you learned a lot of faulty beliefs. So what do we do with that? Right? How do you get through that? These beliefs, don't they feel like they're part of you and who you are? Don't they really and truly feel like it's how you think? Like it's how you, that's just how I am. Doesn't it? At least for me, it took a long time to get past that, to realize it actually isn't. But it truly does feel like it's the only way I've ever felt. So how is it wrong? So I think when we're talking about this, we can recognize that, yeah, just reading what you wrote there, Gabby, is obvious that that was put in your head from my perspective, right? From not having it be me. So it's obvious when you read that 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 those faulty beliefs were taught to you and indoctrinated into you so that they could control you, right? So that they could manage the household the way they wanted to manage it, which was like a family cult, because there was narcissism in your house, right? So yeah, that's pretty obvious. Yeah, okay. And still being reinforced. And isn't it interesting how life will reinforce it? Somebody at work will get the promotion. Somebody else, all your friends will, I mean, say someone wants to get married. I'm just making silly examples. And all your friends get married, you don't. Right? All your uh, all your friends get promotions, you don't. And it's like you can always see it's like the red button, right? That just constantly keeps getting pushed in your head over and over again. I don't know how it is for you. I'm just saying that tends to happen, right? And then big things that actually are personal, because none of those examples were personal, but it actually, when something personal does happen, it feels bigger than maybe it would if you didn't have that belief, right? And those beliefs feel like they really are a part of who you are, but they're not. They're part of who you were taught to be. They are the training you had as a child to become exactly what that training wanted you to become, someone that could be influenced by the narcissistic parent. They don't ever want to let go of the grip. A narcissist, even if it's not your parent, right? They don't want to let go of the grip of the control and the power that they have over you. Because if you had a mind of your own and you succeeded and you were something other than they decided you were, well, then how would their reality be real? How would their delusion of the whole world be accurate? I mean, we know it's not, but for them, yeah, it has to stay that way. So, yeah, it's about unwinding it and recognizing it, I think. So I think just seeing it, um, control freaks for sure. Um, I think seeing it is part of it. It's one piece. Seeing these beliefs, um, I don't know how you work with it. How are you working with this, or are you? um, so it's interesting because you can get pretty darn healed, and the beliefs will still be there, and you would think they would just fade away, but it's like it is such a deeply ingrained neural pathway, right? It's such deeply ingrained thing that it's beyond habit. It's belief. Belief is a strong word, right? Okay, Miss Rockstar saying, "Gotta admit mine, and I'm trying to be honest. This narcissist turns 6." Yes. Um, it's both men and women. Absolutely. You're deciphering truth from fiction, but it's a work in progress. So what happens when you decipher what is truth, what is your truth, and what is a fictional reality created for you by other people? Does that dissolve and sort of change the belief, or does it how does that work? For me, that becomes a secondary program running. Does that make sense? Like the belief will be there and I'll be like, but I didn't create this belief. That helps a little bit, but I still believe it, even though I didn't create it. So even though I didn't create it, now I have to live with it. That's what right? It gets like that. So sometimes like it feels like a lobotomy would be kinder. It's a lot, right? Um, so this is where coming back to what I was talking about last week is useful, I think. Coming back to finding what's true for you, not what is the opposite of the belief. So if your belief is you're not as smart as your sister, your new belief does not have to be I'm smarter than my sister or I'm just as smart as my sister. It can be, wow, I'm a really curious person. I have a lot of wisdom. It's interesting how my brain is so willing to help me change or work or heal. It can be things like that, which are, it's sort of like instead of countering the belief, adding in something that feels true. And how do you get there? So last week I was talking about this a lot, and I always keep repeating it. Come into yourself, meaning get present to yourself, be present for yourself. It's a slowing down and a relaxation of your thoughts and your emotions and an awareness on your body at the same time that can allow you to be present. So what I was suggesting last week is feel yourself sitting there, find some way to be mindful, quickly, short, 5 seconds, not even a long time. Whatever it works for you, whether it's following your breathing or noticing a body part or holding something in your hand or something really in the body, not so much concentrating on something outside of yourself with your eyes, something really that you can embody the moment. So the time has that wonderful slowed down feeling that isn't scary, right? It's just relaxed. And then take a breath and on the exhale, notice your chest. And then listen to your thoughts. Do those feel like truth? Those beliefs, they spin up in your head, and so offer them some acknowledgement. Yeah, I hear you, belief. Oh, yes, that's a belief. Thanks for reminding me, brain. Whatever it is, so that you're not fighting with it. And the emotions that go with it, feel them in your body. Yeah, I'm tracking with that. I can feel that heavy depression set in when I realize I believe I'm not as good as my sister. Okay. Wherever it hits you in your body, give it some love, give it some attention from your presence, from where you love from. Okay? And then just let it go. You don't need to replace the feeling, not right now, right? You don't need to replace the thought. You're just aware of the other two in a different way. And as this evolves and you work with this, different thoughts can come in your head from a different place because how do I explain this? I was listening to this is totally off topic, but this is the only way I can explain it. So I was driving along listening to music, and music was irritating me. And I thought, well, that's interesting. My head is really, my mind does not want this music right now. Okay. And so I switched it. And I thought, I'm going to listen to what my heart wants. And not my ears, not my head, not the words, not the logic, just what sounds what my body wants to feel right now, because music was vibration, right? Where does my body want to align with this music? Is this just what I was thinking? And I was driving along and I'm listening, and suddenly the music started lining up and I felt so happy, but and like not giddy, but just joyful. And I don't even know what it was I was listening to, right? Because it wasn't with my mind in my head. It's that place. All right. So align with what feels right for you in your beliefs. Does it feel right to believe you're not as good as your sister? Probably not, because it's logically inaccurate. You're two different people. There's no comparison. There's no need, right? Even if she's brilliant, you have your own intelligence, and we could logically describe how each person is equally, you know, shiny to the next person. So it's not that. So so to how to feel what is the true belief. And then it becomes a question. I don't know what will it take to show me what I really do believe? How how can I open up to who I truly am? Okay, those questions can come up. And if you stay in question, you start creating a curious pathway, right, toward your own awakening to who you are, that has nothing to do with anybody else or the influence of anything else. All right. What are we saying here? Um, Shame, my brother's coming from Australia to UK, and she says he wants to go and see your sister. So he's going to her town for a few days, as if to indicate she's more important to visit, devalue. Right. And so that's the thing. It's letting the other piece to this, the very practical piece, is allowing the narcissistic people to be who they are and allowing that to be a truth, not about you, a truth about them, a truth about their reality, the way they see the world, the very narrow viewpoint that they have, their point of view, and that has nothing to do with you. And I know we want our parents to love us and to, all the stuff, but can you force it? No. If they didn't when you were a tiny baby, what's gonna make them now? And that has nothing to do with you. It's a sad reality, and there's grief around that. And also, that's their loss, right? That is their shortcoming in this life, is that they couldn't do that. And so you give yourself the love you need and start creating a different reality that does not need their approval. Tricky, right? Okay. What are we saying here? Okay. Um okay, let's go on to anything else about this. You don't need to shut up. I just need I'll shut up. You don't need to I just can't read. I can't read that fast. What are we saying? Okay. Where'd it go? I'm addicted to flirting with a narcissist, not good, as it may go too far one day. And yeah, why are you addicted to it? Because they're really good at giving attention while they're getting supply. They're really good at sharing a little bit of that back with you so that you continue to give them supply. It's always a game. It's always want take with a narcissist. Want take, want take, want take. That's what they do. And so, yeah, it's never going to be, a real close connected relationship. And so, yeah, and female narcissists are very cunning. A lot of them are very well versed in psychology or self-help or claim to go to therapy or whatever. They have all the words. They learn all the tricks so that they can seem like they're getting better. But they don't wanna get better. There is no better for them. The only thing they get better at is their narcissism. All right, so, what else we got here? Yes, tell the flying monkeys you do not want to hear about the person and you don't want to discuss it. Exactly. Exactly. Shut it down. Shut it down, redirect your focus, start over with no contact and keep free from that. It doesn't end well ever. Have in fact, I was gonna it's interesting that you're saying all this, Miss Rockstar, because the other topic I had in mind was the Hoover and um, the incessant Hoover, the long time Hoover that comes late, the how Hoovers are, why they're difficult to. So maybe we'll do that this week as well. So you can come back and we'll do more of it and keep reinforcing this for you. Because, yeah, so let's go back to beliefs. So when we're trying to create new beliefs, I don't even like that word. When we're trying to awaken our true beliefs about who we are, finding places to reinforce it can be important because you see, beliefs are not, they're not like something that hits you, like they can hit you like, aha, oh, I believe that. That feels true. But then the reinforcement of finding that truth in life. So if you feel joy from something and you believe you're a joyful person, that doesn't mean that if you don't feel joy, you're not a joyful person. What it means is you're not finding the reinforcement in life to remind you of that belief. So we have to start looking for the beliefs that serve our life into an expansive and open life versus looking for the reinforcement of the things that contract, constrict, confine, and box our life into the toxic beliefs that we have about ourselves because of toxic people. Um, let's see. Talk about the touching too. This is a new one on me. Oh, well, touch releases oxytocin. All it takes is, I believe, 10 seconds of a hug to release oxytocin. 30 seconds gives you a huge dose. So if someone lingers just a second longer with a hug, you're being flooded with oxytocin. Oxytocin is a bonding hormone, right? It's a bonding chemical. It makes you feel close to someone. It makes you feel lovey-dovey. It makes you feel nice, connected. All it takes, I mean, you can, if you're a baby person, okay, you hold a baby for 10 seconds and you're flooded with oxytocin. I get so tired from oxytocin. I can feel it. It's like a, whoa, like a wave, right? And then I'm so sleepy. And 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 I can actually feel it happening in the body. Well, she used to hold me for 15 seconds. Yep. Yep. It's giving her oxytocin as well, which for you, it will make you feel all the emotional feels of hope, connection. Has she changed? Is it different? She seems so nice. This is so wonderful. I love the touch, blah, blah, blah. Right? For her, the connection is, oh, good. I've got her. Oh, good. She's not going to run away this time. They're not going to run away. They're going to stay here. Right? So, right. Even if you don't date it, I'm just making up a story because I don't know the situation, but it's hugging, touching. Oh, yeah. She's flirting and she's awakening a chemical response in your body so that even not dating, I mean, you can have a friend and just put a hand on them like when you're talking before you leave and just like give them an arm squeeze or something, and that'll release oxytocin, which bonds and reinforces the friendship. Someone might put their hand on your back and that reinforces a connection. It's a actual chemical in the brain connection. So yeah. Uh-huh. Um, okay, what else we got going on here? All right. Anything more, you guys, on beliefs that you want to talk about? Anyone in here? Any questions or not? I'm getting ready for group coaching, so I'm watching time. Yeah, I think so. The beliefs that you have about yourself that came from toxic people, those are important, I think, for your healing to get to know, to become familiar with without judgment. As I said, come into your body, be present, however that works for you. Take a breath, feel it, exhale, feel the warmth of your chest. From that warmth, send a message to your head. Oh, that's a belief. Ah, I see it. That's not my belief. Okay. Yeah, but brain, you're doing a good job recording it. Thanks. You did a good job recording that belief in there. Smart brain. Okay. No judgment on the belief that you recognize. No judgment on yourself for having it. Logical. It's just there. And then do I think then we'll get there just a second. Yes, I think they can help. I think affirmations can be empty for a lot of us unless we first embody ourselves. Okay? So being present to yourself, like I'm just describing, take a breath and exhale and feel the warmth in your chest. And from that warmth, imagine something floating up to your mind or your emotions and giving it what they need: affirmation, validation, reinforcement. Even if you're reinforcing something like say you're thinking, God, I'm stupider than my sister. It's true. I am. Take a breath, get into your body, and send something to your mind that says, you're right. Because according to your belief, that's accurate. And whose belief was that? Where'd that come from? You think we could do it different? Have a conversation instead of batter ramming your head with your don't think that horrible thought. That shouldn't. Stop doing that to yourself because it doesn't usually work. Okay. If we're kinder, if the approach is kinder, we tend to be more receptive to it. And just like you wouldn't want me to come coach you and be like, okay, Gabby, what's wrong with you? Just get rid of that belief is no, stop. Don't do that anymore. Stop, right? Like you wouldn't want that. You'd much rather I say, hey, where'd that come from? You think that's yours? Hmm. I don't know. I see a bright, shiny person. What do you feel about yourself? Right? Like, you wouldn't want, do what you would, how you'd want to be spoken to. Speak to yourself and then try the affirmations. Okay. And then let's try on some new beliefs. I'm actually pretty smart. I'm clever. But if you try to go to the affirmations, I believe, straight from affirmation with nothing embodying, with nothing being, no presence to yourself, no emotional connection, more than emotional, being connection, right? Then you're beating up, you're covering, band-aiding, or trying to cram a new belief into a place where there's no room for it. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. You make room for the new belief and the affirmation through the validation of the old belief. Not saying you're right, you are stupid like that. You're right. You have believed that a long time. Oh, no wonder you keep believing that, brain, because it was put there. Oh my gosh, you're so clever to have brought that back up over and over again. You really did a good job. Now, could we make some room for something new? And just let it run. Even if it's your mind's like, no, there's no room, just let that run. Stop judging it and be like, yeah, actually, what I'm going to think now is I'm actually pretty smart because I just figured out how to do this. Or I'm pretty curious to see if this works. So that means I'm a curious person, and it takes a certain amount of intelligence to be curious if you're adding affirmations about intelligence, right? So, yeah. Hey, Daniel. And who else is here? Coach Amy. Hello. Okay, Amy, escaped covert partner last week. How are you doing? Now I have to work through my fears of getting a new job. Digging into that fear, beliefs. This is what we're talking about. Where is that from? What is that? What is that fear covering up? What beliefs do you have that are hiding behind that fear? Curious. Okay. Um, what else did we say here? Um, fears that it will be a job I hate. Okay, maybe. And guess what? You can find another one, right? Or one over my head. Totally understandable. Okay. Or dealing with the super needy people or running out of energy to deal with the job. I exercise 2 hours a day, so that's not realistic. So the fears are talking you out of freedom, right? And you're saying that a lot of them are unfounded because or unrealistic for you personally. Some of them aren't, some of them are. So, okay. So where do you feel the fear? Where in your body do you notice the fear? Where does it grip you? This is how I would work through this. Some are from the past, but not now. Okay. So you can understand a little bit about them and those are in your mind. So if you just think about that for a second and kind of get into it, the fears that you have, like just kind of feel that fear for a second and take a breath and exhale, maybe two. And on your second exhale, like notice your chest. And then just thank your mind for all the thoughts that it has about fear. Just be like, "Thanks, Amy. Good job thinking about the fear." Because really, that's what your mind's job is. It did a good job, okay? And then your body's like, "Yeah, but it's still scary." So where's it in your body? Where do you notice it? Where are those emotions? Where's the emotion of fear landing? Because see, emotion is not a thought. Emotion is the embodiment of a thought. It's the thought that gets translated into the experience of the whole of you, right? That becomes what we call emotions, right? Your throat and your chest. Okay. So take another breath and give your throat and your chest some comfort. Like something like yeah, that's really scary. Yeah, I'm gonna be on yeah, I'm doing it on my own. That's a lot. Yes, throat, I know. Yes, chest. Whatever it is. You've held a lot of stress, haven't you? And things like that over just a couple whatever works for you, couple breaths. And then remind yourself that you're in there. Okay? You're not your fear. You're not your beliefs of unworthiness or whatever it is you're feeling. I'm just making that word up. You're inside there. Okay? You're the rest of it is what was taught to you. And this is the beauty of humanity, of being human, right? Is that we have this capacity of consciousness, right? That is way more than the programming that's put in our head from our influences. It's where we make choice. It's where we make true choice. Okay. And so then take a breath and just choose to do something kind for yourself, to be brave, to be courageous. In fact, you're very courageous for everything you've just been through. So find the places in your body that feel courage and ask those parts of your body to help the parts of your body that are feeling scared. So when you feel courage, maybe you feel like your back stands up straight. I'll just make that up. Okay. And so then you can take a breath and say, "Hey, back, can you help the throat?" I know it sounds silly, but remember, our bodies map emotion and our bodies map trauma and our bodies map experience. That's why we get illness and pain and all the stuff that happens from toxic relationships, right? So if you can remap it using your mind, you have a different experience of yourself. And guess what you just did? You used consciousness to create something new for yourself, a new thought pattern that can become a changed belief, a belief in all in itself, not even changed, a belief all in itself that then hopefully over time can override the fear, override the belief that you need to be fearful. Does that make sense? Okay. Um that was fun. It's okay. Thank you. And let's see. If the thought comforting those areas in my body. Yeah, it's interesting, right? It takes what it also does is it takes your mind out of the neural pathway that fear lives in. It picks off that record, puts it on a new place. So it creates a brand new way of being with yourself. And that brand new way of being with yourself is one that is using all your parts, but something else in there to guide them. They're not just following. See, because what normally happens is we have a thought. Our thought affects our emotions, that affects our body. And then it's this it's this feedback loop, right? That just keeps running. And that's why we're stuck in loops. That's why we're stuck perseverating, ruminating, all of that stuff. Because we can't get out. There's no way to, no one teaches you how to get out of it. So I am suggesting this as one way to attempt to jump outside that tiny little pond of the way life has been into the big clear water of what could be. All right. So, yeah. Anything else for today before I have to go? We have group coaching in a little bit. Today's, what day is it today? Is it Tuesday? It is, right? Kids are out of school, so every day is Monday to me. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, with that said, if anyone is interested in group coaching, I'll talk a little bit about it because it's awesome. So, what we do is we meet 3 times a week on Zoom, and basically what Coach Amy what Amy and I just did is what we do. Back and forth, one-on-one with each person, but the person gets to talk and be seen because it's a Zoom private room for us. And yeah, and so that's 3 times a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays 4:30, Fridays 11 Pacific time. And yeah, it's a good group of people and we're all kind of working toward the same things but in different stages. There's no beginning, no end. There's just come as you are for what you need and stay as long as you wish. So, and that runs monthly is how it is billed. It's $60 for 4 weeks. So you get a lot for the 60 time wise. So that's that. If anyone needs it, find it in the main description of every video or email me coachlise@gmail.com and I'll give you info because it's a wonderful group and I want to keep it going. It's been going for about 6 years now, I think. 5 years, 6 years. It was one of the, yeah, it's been going a long time. Different people obviously in it now. And it evolves and changes as people come because everybody brings themselves, which is wonderful. Okay. Anything else today? I think we're good. Okay, guys, I will come back later this week with more live. I don't know when yet. So yeah, I appreciate you with the jump in as I so let me know also mornings, afternoons, or evenings. I can't do evenings Pacific. Mornings or afternoons Pacific time. So that would be evening for East Coast, right? What's better for everyone? I'm seeing a lot more people come in the afternoons. So that might be the time I choose. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. You have a lovely, lovely day, evening, and tomorrow. Bye-bye. Take care.